Marcus Chen pressed his back against the cold metal wall of the abandoned mining station, listening to the distant rumble of Kethvar war machines. 3 years of exile on this forgotten asteroid had taught him to distinguish every sound. The whisper of recycled air through broken vents, the creak of deteriorating hull plates, and now, the approaching thunder of death. The court-martial had stripped him of rank, honor, and home. Excessive force, they'd called it. War crimes, the prosecution had argued. But Marcus knew the truth. Sometimes monsters wore the faces of allies, and sometimes the greatest evil came from within. His refusal to execute civilians on Kepler 442b had cost him everything, but his conscience remained intact. The 5 Zephyrian widows had found him 2 months ago, their translucent skin shimmering with grief patterns that needed no translation. Their mates had died defending the outer colonies from the same Kethvar horde now bearing down on this insignificant rock. With nowhere else to turn, they'd sought out the infamous human exile, the one who'd supposedly gone mad and killed his own commanding officer. "Please," Lisabelle had whispered, her forearms trembling as she placed a datapad before him. "Our children hide in the deep caverns. The Kethvar come for sport. They collect young Zephyrian wings as trophies." Marcus had turned away then, just as he'd turned away from every plea for help over the past 3 years. He was done being a soldier, done with the weight of other lives pressing down on his shoulders like a collapsing star. But the sound of children crying echoes differently in the vacuum of space. Now, as Kethvar dropships screamed through the thin atmosphere, Marcus moved through the station's maintenance tunnels with purpose. His old combat suit, patched and repatched, hummed to life as forgotten systems activated. The neural interface sparked against his skull, downloading tactical data he'd tried so hard to forget. The first Kethvar squad breached the station's hull like bullets through tissue paper. Their exoskeletons gleamed obsidian black, designed to intimidate as much as protect. Marcus watched them from the shadows, counting their movements, cataloging their weapons. 12 soldiers, standard sweep formation, overconfident and loud. They'd never fought humans before. Marcus dropped from the ceiling like a falling star, his plasma blade igniting mid-descent. The first Kethvar died before it could scream, its neural cluster severed by surgical precision. The second managed to turn before Marcus's sidearm painted abstract art across the wall with its brain matter. The remaining 10 opened fire, their particle beams turning the corridor into a light show of death. But Marcus was already moving, his enhanced reflexes turning him into liquid shadow. He flowed between their shots like water through fingers, each movement calculated to position him for the next kill. A grenade rolled toward his feet. Marcus kicked it back, the explosion painting 3 more Kethvar across the bulkhead. 7 left. Their tactical chatter filled his comm as they tried to coordinate. But Marcus had been listening to their frequencies for weeks. He knew their language, their protocols, their fears. "Retreat to dropship Gamma," their squad leader barked. "Call for reinforcements." Marcus couldn't allow that. He moved through the ventilation system like a virus through a bloodstream, emerging behind their formation as they regrouped near the airlock. His combat knife found the leader's spine while his plasma pistol spoke death to 2 more. The survivors panicked, firing at shadows while Marcus danced between them, harvesting lives with clinical efficiency. When silence returned to the corridor, 12 bodies lay cooling in their own fluids. But Marcus knew this was only the beginning. The Kethvar war machine had 3 more dropships in orbit, each carrying 50 soldiers. The widows and their children, 37 young Zephyrians hidden in caverns 3 kilometers below, couldn't run far enough or fast enough. Someone had to buy them time. Someone had to make a stand. Marcus sealed the station's main airlock and activated the defense grid, ancient particle cannons that probably hadn't fired in decades. The targeting systems were manual, relying on human reflexes and intuition. Perfect. The second wave came like a meteor shower of violence. Dropships screamed toward the station while Marcus painted the void with coherent light. His first shot vaporized the lead ship's engine cluster, sending it tumbling into the asteroid's surface. The second punched through a troop compartment, decompressing 24 Kethvar warriors into the cold embrace of space. But they kept coming. Boarding pods slammed into the hull like iron rain. Cutting torches began their deadly work. Marcus abandoned the gun turrets and moved to the prepared positions, choke points where superior numbers meant nothing, where a single human could hold against an army. They came in waves, each group learning from the last group's mistakes. Marcus's ammunition ran low, then lower. His suit's power reserves flickered warnings. Blood from a dozen minor wounds painted the inside of his helmet. But still they came, and still he held. Hours passed. Bodies piled in the corridors like cordwood. The Kethvar began using their own dead as cover, pushing forward over carpets of their fallen comrades. Marcus fought with knife and fist when the ammunition ran out, with broken debris when the weapons failed, with fury and determination when everything else was spent. In the deepest part of the station, he made his final stand. Back to the blast door leading to the caverns, plasma burns across his armor, one arm hanging useless at his side. 50 Kethvar warriors faced him across a corridor slick with alien blood. Their commander stepped forward, his exoskeleton decorated with the wings of countless victims. "Human," he said in accented galactic standard. "You fight well for prey. But you are alone. We are many." Marcus spat blood and raised his knife. "I'm not alone," he said. "I have my conscience." The final charge came like a black tide. Marcus met it with everything left in his failing body. His blade singing its death song one last time. The blade shattered. His armor cracked. His body failed. But the blast door held. When the rescue ships arrived 2 days later, they found corridors full of Kethvar dead, and one human soldier slumped against a sealed door. Behind that door, 37 young Zephyrians and 5 grieving widows waited in safety. Marcus Chen died as he had lived in exile, alone but unbroken. His honor restored not by courts or medals, but by the simple choice to stand between the innocent and the dark. The galaxy would remember his name,